Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments, YouTube, every Friday, Lord willing, 3 o'clock Central Time. I come to you with the Ministry Moments. You can go, and I'd suggest you subscribe to Ministry Moments YouTube, Bob Gray Sr., or go to Ministry Moments Podcast, your favorite podcast provider, or solvechurchproblems.com, and subscribe. That way you'll get this and you can look at it at your own leisure, your own time. I know you're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. All God's children are busy. But anyway, Ministry Moments, brief, hopefully very practical, and to the point to be able to help you and put one more brick of truth in that wall of life of leadership that's needed. Today, I want to talk to you about debt retirement. Debt retirement. And I want to give you a little foundation here. Basically about how we handed out our financial reports, but there was a part of that financial report that I never observed anyone else ever doing, something that I did, and I taught for 3 decades at the soul winning clinic, and I think this will be of help to you, but we're talking about debt retirement. Now, I want you to think in terms right now of a percentage. For example, when we mention tithe, we preach tithe or teach it, that is 10%. When you go to the last chapter of Leviticus, if you're late on your tithe, you're to add a fifth, which is a percentage, 20%. That's not whiskey, that's a percentage. Look at how God uses percentages, a fourth or a third, or so he over and over in Scripture uses percentage. Now, the reason that this will help you on this matter of controlling your debt retirement or getting a hold of your debt retirement is simply because a layman, you put him on the board. We had 33 men on our deacon board. You put them on the board, and then they're used to paying a $100 electric bill, and all of a sudden you got a $4,000 electric bill, and they look at it and scratch their heads and say, "What in the world are you doing down there?" Or a telephone bill at home, maybe around $100, and then you all of a sudden you're running $2,000 a telephone bill, and it's hard to grasp or hard to get a hold of. But if you use percentage, it's easier to relate to, and that's why I always put on the outside of our monthly and quarterly and annual reports, financial reports, I always use percentages. And that told the people whether or not we were okay. For example, never more than 40 or 45 for administrative expense. No more than 15% on utilities. Debt retirement, 25%. Those are solid percentages that we had used throughout the years, and it proved to help us. If it was over that, it's like a smoke alarm. There's something wrong and you need to start shutting some lights off or doing something. We had stickers on the walls that reminded our people to shut lights off, but we also eventually converted to computerized, where you could set the to go off, say at 10:30 on Wednesday night or another time, but it was preset. I remember one time Russell Anderson spoke for us, did a great job. But there were so many people getting signatures and autographs from him. He sat on the platform and the air went off. And he told me the next day, he said, "Man, you like to sweated me to death last night." But I had forgot about it. I left and went to the office to take care of counseling, but it automatically shut off. We were very cognizant of the fact, okay, net profit in a business goes back into the business. For a church, when you can cut down on the fixed expenses, then you get more money at the end that you can put into missions or bus ministry or so on. So every dollar that we save is used to put right back into the ministry to get people saved. So let me give you some thoughts here about debt retirement, understanding this idea of percentage. Okay, when a couple come in and said, "Preacher, we can't give the debt retirement anymore. Our hours have been cut back," or Faith Promise, or whatever it might be. Bus ministry, we can't give, and Pastor, we want to let you know we're not backslid. It's just our hours are cut back. Well, you don't have to do that if it's on a percentage. A percentage is a percentage. $1,000, $100 tithe. $100, $10 tithe. It's all equal in God's sight. God doesn't need your money, he needs your heart. And so I'm just saying to you, if you will teach the people to do what they do by percentage, then they never have to cut back. And if they get more hours, well, glory to God, then God gets more money to keep people out of hell. All right, so let me give you the here at the Ministry Moments on debt retirement. Number one, use percentages so you know what you're dealing with. Number two, 25% debt limit. I taught our people personally, never go 25% above for debt retirement or mortgage. Don't do it. Don't do it. Number three, each member should give give percentages, and then translate that to actual dollars. If a pastor is looking for commitments, and we handed out commitment cards every January, then you want them to take their percentage and relate it as best they can, translate it to actual dollars to help the pastor be able to see what he can do as far as faith. For example, Faith Promise, we never did go above 75%. We just didn't trust it was going to come in, and I didn't want to leave missionaries hanging. We only ran on 80% of our actual budget, which gave us a cushion. So number one, use percentages. Number two, 25% debt limit. Number three, teach members to give on a percentage basis, but to translate it to actual dollars so that the pastor knows what to deal with. Now, if they have to cut back, they aren't. It's the percentage that's cutting back. Number four, schedule a month of stewardship. Go over with your people what your debt retirement is and the effect of prepaying on that debt. So we had every January, we had stewardship, and we let the people know where we were and took the challenge for the coming year. But you want to schedule a month of stewardship where you teach Sunday school lessons on it. It's time, talent, and treasure. And then you want to teach on Wednesday night practical things to help them get out of debt. You want to preach on it, teach on it. And sometimes on Wednesday night, years ago, I used to bring in local pastors and have them preach on it on Wednesday night. There's somebody else talking about expecting me to do it, but it was good to hear it from other pastors who were successful in controlling their debt retirement. All right, I said, number one, use percentages. Learn to use percentages. Number two, 25% debt limit. Number three, teach members to give percentages, but to translate it, if you're asking for commitment, into a dollar amount. But their giving is based on that percentage. Next, schedule a month of stewardship. Number five, amortize debt at current interest rates. You can get a program, and let's say that you're at 6%, 5%, whatever it might be. I remember in 1980 and 81, it got up to 22% in Texas. You think it's bad now? Nothing compared to what and then they took all church loans and threw them into, nobody wanted them. And so when all the banks started going bankrupt, belly up, they gave the mortgage to all of them, to a bank that took them on. And I guess they must have given them some type of a break, but I remember it's 22%. It was big. And so I said, number one, use percentages. Number two, 25% debt limit. Don't go over that. Number three, each member give a percentage, and so that they're not cutting back. They're not cutting back, but they can translate that to a dollar amount to help you as the pastor. Number four, schedule a month of stewardship, Sunday school lessons every Sunday, and commitment cards. Hand out commitment cards. On the back of the financial thing on the commitment card, we had things that need to be done. We wanted to know what kind of abilities God had given you. Electric, whatever it might be, handyman, whatever, air conditioning, mechanic. We'd list all those on the back, and the people would check. I can do this. I can help it. If you need me, call me. And it really was good. Number six, show interest, amortize. That's number five. Amortize it so that you know at your percentage exactly what the interest is you're paying each week and what the principal, how the principal is reduced slowly because of the interest. You'd be shocked if you amortized and found exactly how much money you paid for a mortgage. Then number 6, show interest rates and principal a part of the payment. So they can say, okay, this much goes to interest each month. This much goes to principal each month. Now, I'm head somewhere, so don't leave me. Number 7, use a computer program to show the impact of extra giving. So let's say that you're at 6%. Okay, you amortize it into this program. It'll tell you month by month, and it'll show the principal slowly going down and the interest rate and what you're paying in interest. But you can take that, and then if you have an open-end mortgage, now when you talk to your banker, when you do a mortgage, don't do one that's open-ended. That means you can prepay on it. If they won't let you prepay, don't close the deal. Don't do it, because I can save you thousands and thousands of dollars if you listen to me. But get an open-end mortgage, and then show different levels of giving. We started out $1 a head. It was $200 a week. And that was our first year. We ended up, when I retired, we were given $2,000 a week. And if you get that program, it'll show the effect of a greater amount of extra giving or prepayment on the debt. Every Friday, we'd cut a check, send it to the bank. We wanted to get there as quick as we could. And then a difference it made. If you look at this program and you see what $200 a week on the principal, there's no interest payment on that. It's directly off the principal. And then up to $500, how that affected. And you can cut your mortgage in half if you get enough people participating in this. So I said, number 1, use percentage to get a grip on what you're dealing with. Number 2, 25% debt limit. Don't ever borrow more than 25% of your income for debt or retirement. Each member, you teach them to give percentage-wise. Number 4, schedule a month of stewardship. So every January you go over this. Our budget really started February 1st. Amortize debt at current interest rates so they can see exactly the interest and exactly right up for 15 years or 20 years, or whatever it might be. Just print the whole thing out and show it to them you can do it with an overhead projector. Then use a computer program to show the impact of extra giving. Let's say $200 every week. What would it be if it was $400? Show the reduction of the principal and saving of interest. All right. Then number 8, start with $1 a member. Number 9, make sure you have an open-ended mortgage. Already mentioned that. Make sure you have an open-ended, which allows a prepayment. And then number 10, increase the weekly prepayment to the principal extra, and show the people exactly the savings if they will participate in this. And our people did. We had a debt retirement board board out in the foyer for years. And it made a difference. It made a difference. And another broadcast, I'll show you how this will help you as far as I didn't believe in being debt free. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? I believe you ought to manage your debt and be able to pay your bills. But I didn't push to be debt free. Didn't want that at all. I wanted to keep the pressure on where we kept building. And we kept building and building. Some $2 million worth of property ended up on $17 million, according to one appraisal. So we just kept building it. But I remember as a Pentecostal said to me one year, walking the hall, preacher, can we go through just 1 year without building something? But it costs money to do it. And so you need to keep everybody. But I'll give it another broadcast. I'll show you exactly how you can use this. When you reduce the debt down so far, you can go right back into debt and build buildings without raising money. I can't do it now. I'll do it later. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of Ministry Moments every Friday, 3:00 Central Time. You join me, and I'll try to give you a thought of something that'll be a blessing to you in the ministry. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Soul winning tomorrow. Make sure you're out there winning souls and get them here. And Sunday school is the start of church. God bless you.